So let's say I'm guiding someone through the session, and what would be some of the signs that you could see that sadness was kind of bubbling up? Quivering of the lips is a big one. Flickering of the eyes. Covering the face. You know, I was receiving a session one time, and I was sweating from my hands and my feet. And this woman said to me, she came up next to me, just so soft, gentle, nurturing energy. She's like, "You let so much water out of your hands and feet. Do you ever let water out of your eyes?" And I was just like, damn. It just started flowing. I was just... so just attuning to him. Just say... and start to maybe notice a little quiver in the lip. That's it. Deep breath. One other thing too, when you're next to somebody and you're giving them verbal cues, it's often best to speak towards the ground, because if I speak out here, they're going to have a harder time hearing it, and I don't want to just like speak right over his face. But if I speak to the floor, he'll hear it better. Just let yourself shake. Just going to roll you on your side. Just let yourself feel it. When you rolled someone over, I'll hold them through it. And then at some point, you want to give them their space back. And so before you let go of them, before you take your hands off of them, you want to let them know that they can stay right here in this position for as long as they want to. And they can come back whenever they're ready. So I'll just let them know, you can stay here for as long as you need to. You can come back whenever you're ready. And a lot of times they'll do that. They'll give a little nod. And then I'll slowly just take one hand off at a time. And I'll give them their space back. I'm going to show you one more time just the mechanics of it, because the mechanics are important for your own body. It already started bubbling up for him. You could see it, like it was real. I actually have a tear in my eye because I'm feeling it with him. So much love and care for Adam. Yeah. So, I'm sorry to put you through it. I gotta put you through it again. You donated yourself. I'm sorry. No, it's okay. I think are you okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, just like we learned this morning, a lot of the times when I get to putting my hand on someone's belly, and all you gotta say is like, it's okay to let yourself feel. You're human. So much of us are holding it all together. I mean, just having a moment where another person's just like, it's okay to let yourself feel. I feel like a broken record sometimes saying that, but it just works. It just works. A lot of times we want to have this, I want to have this perfectly artistic, crafted cue, when it's like, all you got to say is let yourself feel. And it's like, how much can you actually package underneath what you're saying? But if I get to the point where it's hands on belly and, tears are starting to bubble up, I just let them know, I'm going to roll you on your side. I let them know first. Oftentimes you don't want to ask them, this question always comes up, do you want to roll on your side? Then I'm putting them into their head, they got to answer a question. I'm just going to let them know, hey, I'm going to roll you on your side. And if they don't want to be rolled over, their body will tell you. They'll be like, no, I actually kind of just want to stay open to the world. So when I say I'm going to roll you on your side, your top hand, meaning the hand closest to the head, will just kind of go at the shoulder here. The bottom hand, you just grab the wrist, and you just start taking the wrist up, and you just move. They're going to roll on their side. They're going to do it. And a lot of the times, some practitioners, as soon as they roll on their side, you roll them over, they're like, okay. Everything is slow and gentle and just one step at a time. I roll them over, I just take the arm, roll them on their side, let them get set. Then, I might be here for a while. So I'm just going to take my blanket, make sure I'm comfy, and then you could take your bottom arm and just kind of give them a little bit of a scoop here. You don't have to you just push this a little bit. A lot of the times they'll pull their legs up in. Then my body, I want my knees towards the head, parallel to their body. And then I'm fully up against him here. My whole side is up against his back. So he can feel that I got his back. I'm not... when someone's in this place, the goal, you're rolling them away so that they can kind of be in their own energy. I definitely don't want to be like this, hey, what's going on over there? Are you crying?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I have my side up against him here. Then as far as, what do I do with my hands? Hand on the back here, can just hold around the back. Other hand, and just hold. And could be fully down here with him. I want to make sure that I'm not crushing him, but energetically, you can feel if you're doing this and you're kind of I don't want to get too close. I'm fully there with him. I'm not afraid to get tears on me. I'm there with him. And I'll hold. And people ask how long to hold for. I want to hold until the arc of the emotion starts to go up and it kind of fully just has this discharge. Once it's on the way back down, then I can let him know, you can stay here for as long as you need to. You can come back whenever you're ready. And then I'll slowly start to come off. Everything's slow, my hands can come off. And then I can start to give him his space back. Another thing here is that once somebody starts to feel something, I'm not cueing breath anymore. Like I'm not like, deep breaths. Once someone's gotten to the emotion, the whole thing has changed. The whole thing has changed. It's not, we're utilizing breath to pressurize the system for there to be X pressure. And so once it gets to the emotion, a couple other things I see is some practitioners will want to just kind of like pet the head a little bit. It's subtle, but it's kind of communicating like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Just stop. You don't have to feel that. When it's like, I'm just holding. And just holding allows him to be exactly where he's at. So I know a lot of us want to start mothering a little bit, which is beautiful, but it's just not the more that I'm doing, the less he's aware of himself. Thank you, Adam.
Demo of the year.
Questions on that?
At the beginning, you did something where you put your hand on his head.
I did, yeah. I had my hand on his belly, but he was already crying, and I just kind of put my other hand on the top of his head and just held him. And you can totally do that as well. Like that can feel, as long as I'm not caressing, but like just holding, that can feel really good. I'm close, then I can kind of lean down and not breathe in his face, but then I can give him some cues of just like, let yourself feel that. That can feel, if you can tell someone's in a really tender place, like putting a hand on holding the top of the head, it feels really good.
For me, it felt like he was aligning to the emotion that I was moving through. So it felt like he was not only holding what I was moving through, but he was entering into what I was moving through. But then gave me more permission to move into it before it was then the transition. So that presence that he created helped me to actually fully enter into that emotion, that then got me to the point of, by the time he rolled me over, I was already starting to come down the other side.
Yeah. With the hand on the head, it's one thing to have your hand on their belly and speaking to them, and like, I'm here with you. And then the next hand is like, oh, I'm really here with you. And then it like bubbled up a little bit more. And then I was like, cool, now I'll roll you over on your side. But it's not necessary all the time. Like, you don't have to always do it. Some people, I don't know, that's kind of an intuitive move. Where like, hold their head, not hold their head. Some people like their head touched, some people don't. If you're confident and you feel like you want to hold their head, it probably is good. If you don't, then that's okay too. Yes? Yeah, that's a great question. So when it comes to a lot of the hands-on touch techniques, usually I'm utilizing them the most in the first half of the session. And then as the session goes on, as soon as we start to get in those repatterning rounds, like if someone's experiencing joy or happiness, like I want to go maybe put a hand on their heart or anchor that in. But I won't be rolling someone over in that second half. I won't be really like belly rocking them or doing a lot of stuff that's giving them permission to go deeper into some of those emotions. I've had it where I've held a session within the first round, there's tears that are bubbling up and things bubbling up, and I roll them on their side, and I let them know that you can come back whenever you're ready, and they actually just stayed on their side the whole time. So what I'll do is I'll just keep guiding the session. I give them a little bit of time and space before I start cueing breath, but especially if it's a one-on-one session, like, that usually won't happen. They'll usually roll back over at some point, and they'll want to go back into it. Like, what will usually happen is if I roll someone over in the beginning of a session, I'll say you can come back whenever they're ready. Usually when I get to the point of whenever they roll back over, I'll kind of skip the breath hold that I was about to do. Because it's like, someone rolls back over, you don't need to be like, okay, let's do a breath hold, right? If someone rolls back over, I can just say, let's recommit to the breath. Let's see if we can go a layer deeper. Or if you're like, that felt like it was a lot for this person, you could say, let's recommit to the breath. What do you want to put in its place? You could just immediately start going into repatterning rounds. That's the beauty of a one-on-one session, is that you can kind of change things more. Like, you could do one round of clearing, someone has a massive emotional release, and then it's like, cool, let's spend the rest of it just kind of going back down and repatterning. Or if you're like, they had some release and it's like the first round, we could do another round of, seeing if something else wants to bubble back up. Let's go back in, let's see if we can go a layer deeper. And then I can start to shift things. But in a group dynamic, I'm just going to keep guiding the session wherever it's at. They'll be in their own process, and then they know that a group session is going on and that they can just hop back in whenever they're ready.